You don't have to use this if you don't want. We all know the word.
Don't worry, I got a pretty loud voice. It's a bro thing.
Ready? Amen. Hands over your heart like we're supposed to.
Got a flag back here.
There's a flag right here.
If you're a prior service or a service member, please render the appropriate salute. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flame, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Layla, K. Roberta, K. Juanita, L. Hong Zhu Mao, M. Hai Han, Z. Maria, Z.
Fort Hood, Texas, 11509. Michael C. Major Labardo Carrevo. Staff Sergeant Justin DeCrow. Captain John Gaffney. Specialist Frederick Green. Specialist Jason Hunt. Staff Sergeant Amy Kruger. Private First Class Aaron Nemelka. Private First Class Michael Pearson. Captain Russell Seeger. Private First Class Francesca Valles. Lieutenant Colonel Juanita Warman. Private First Class Kam Zong.
Sorry guys, I'm getting a little choked up. Pardon.
Good, brother.
Sandy Hook, 12-14-12. Charlotte B. Daniel B. Rachel D. Olivia Rose E. Joseph G. John LaFerry H. Dylan H. Madeline H. Catherine V. H. Chase K. Nancy L. Jesse L. Anna Marquez G. James M. Grace M. Anne Marie M. Emily P. Jack P. Noah P. Carolyn P. Jessica R. Aviel R. Lauren R. Mary S. Victoria S.
Charleston, South Carolina, 6-17-15. Cynthia H. Susie J. Ethel L. DePayne M. Clementa P. Tawanza S. Danielle S. Sharonda C. Mariah T. San Bernardino, California, 12-2-15. Saria C, Damian M, Shannon J, 10N, Michael W, Yvette V, Daniel K, Ryan R, Robert Adams, Vanetta B, Aurea G, Juan E, Nicholas T.
Pulse Nightclub, 6/12/16. Stanley A. the third, Amanda A., Oscar A., Rodolfo A., Alejandro M., Martin T., Antonio B., Daryl B. the second, Jonathan B., Angel C., Simon F., Juan Chavez M., Louis C., Corey C., Tevin C., Frankie B., Dionk D., Mercedes F., Peter G., Juan G., Paul H., Frank H., Miguel H., Javier J., Jason J. Pulse continued. 6/12/16. Eddie J., Anthony D., Christopher L., Brenda M., Jean P., Akira M., Kimberly M., Jean R., Lewis O., Gerald O., Eric O., Joel P. All of those O's were one family. No, I got it, man. I got to do this. Joel P. Enrique R. Juan V. Yomeri S. Christopher S. Xavier R. Gilberto M. Edward S. Jr. Shane T. Leroy F. Lewis B. Lewis W. Gerald W.
Las Vegas, 10/3/17. Hannah A., Heather A., Doreen A., Carrie B., Jack B., Steve B., Candace B., Denise B., Sandy C., Andrea C., Denise C., Austin D., Thomas D. Jr., Christiana D., Stacy E., Brian F., Carrie G., Dana G., Angela G., Rocio R., Charleston H., Chris H., Jennifer I., Teresa K., Jessica K., Carly K., Rhonda L., Victor L., Jordan M., Kelsey M., Calla Marie M., Patricia M., Austin M., Adrian M., Rachel P., Jenny P., Carrie P., Lisa P., John P., Melissa R., Jordan R., Quentin R., Cameron R., Tara R., Lisa R., Chris R., Brett S., Bailey S., Laura S., Eric S., Susan S., Brendan S., Derek T., Nisa T., Michelle V., Kurt V., Bill W. Excuse me.
You sure? Okay, we're not there yet. We got one more. Sutherland Springs, Texas, 11/5/17. Annabelle P. Brian H. Carla H. Mark H. Noah H. Crystal H. plus an unborn child. Emily H. Megan H. Greg H. Joanne W. Brooke W. Emily G. Richard R. Haley K. Lulu W. Tara M. Dennis J. Sarah J. R. Scott M. Karen M. Shani C. Robert C.
Parkland, Florida, 2/14/18. Alyssa A. Scott B. Martin A. Nicholas D. Aaron F. Jamie G. Naval Reservist Chris Hickson. Luke H. Carla L. Gina M. Joaquin O. Alina P. Meadow P. Helena R. Alex S. Carmen S. Peter W.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was about the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. These are people that signing up for the military, I swore to protect. I swore to defend. And somebody within inside of our own borders did this to them. It wasn't somewhere else. It wasn't on a foreign battlefield. These are lunatics with firearms that picked the softest target. They were sitting ducks. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. If anybody has that type of experience, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm a victim of gun violence. When I was 17 years old, I was gunned down in my friend's apartment. It was a home invasion. They kicked in the back door, they shattered it with a brick, put me and my friend on the floor, made us give them everything we had, and then said, "Show them we ain't playing." And they shot both me and my friend. I got hit in the face. It entered my upper right jaw, exited my lower left neck. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and the doctor said, "You know, I don't know if you're ever going to talk again, but I'm pretty sure I just sang the Pledge of Allegiance to all of you."
Amen.
And being a victim of gun violence has nothing to do with my stance on the Second Amendment or the rights of the free people of the United States of America. It is a fundamental right. It is a fundamental right. And I will not let the names that I just read go unheard. If I have to spend the last dime out of my pocket to travel the U.S. and read those names at every mass invocation from the East Coast to the West Coast, I will do it. To make people understand that if you take our firearms, if you encroach on those rights, these things will continue to happen. It'll be like a buffet style for criminals. They can pick their target. It's the truth. I implore you to see reason. If you're here against it, I implore you to see reason. I don't want to add any more damn names to that list.
Amen.
Should not have to be. We should not have to be here after children are taken from us. My name is Bruce Nathan. I'm running for governor. I'm running for governor because I have 6 children. Because I will never let them get gunned down in a school, because we have already implemented a solution. We can't wait for them. You know the solution they have with SB 7606 and SB 7101? 7026, I mean. It's 105 pages they got up there, and it means absolutely nothing. It's going to do nothing for you. I need to hear how many people here voted for President Donald J. Trump. wasn't loud enough. Aren't we thanking God we got President Trump up there? As a person who's a United States Army veteran, a captain, I have to tell you, we have implemented something called school marshals already. You go to schoolmarshals.net and you volunteer. We have a force that's already in place for the schools. We can't wait any longer. So let's find this out. How many of you would actually sign up for the school marshals program? What that means is you would be off school grounds, you would be watching who's going in, and when you hear gunfire, you run towards it, not away. That's what you have to do.
Protect, not duck and cower.
That's right. If they had ducked and cowered, when we were back at the times of the Constitution, we wouldn't be standing here now. We'd be under English rule. And that would be. We can't have that. So we have to make sure we stand strong. So with all of this that's going on right now, the solutions are the base. And the politicians are not the base. I'm a medical practitioner. I've been doing that for 22 years. And it's important that each and every one of you know that I don't run with a caucus. I am a Republican. But I was a Democrat, just like our president. But you have to learn the right way to go. So that's what we have to do. So as I run for governor, it's quite the thing. I'm 5.5 hours away from here. I come up here, just like Matt said he did, and we go back home. But we gather together so that we can make a stand. We can make a stand for the Second Amendment. But it's not only the Second Amendment that's getting run over, it's the 10th Amendment that's getting run over. Do you know in this state, marriage is still between a man and a woman? Did you know that? It's still in our Constitution of this state. But the Supreme Court said, nah, we don't want that for you. We need to make sure that we hold to our 10th Amendment rights. The 10th Amendment keeps the federal government out of our way. So anything that they decide to do up there, we decide to do down here different. Because if we don't, we become a part of that system. We're already a part of that system, and it's become a problem. So I just want to let you know that I am your only anti-establishment, anti-corruption candidate that's here that will absolutely fight for you every day. Because I believe in you, and I believe in your children. Because if we don't start doing that, we're all in trouble. For me, it's all about the children. And the only one pushing me here to do this and not be home with my kids is my God. So you got to believe in God and country. And I am Jewish. My wife is Baptist, and her parents are Pentecostal. We have so much fun at Christmas. It's a good time. But it's a good time because the kids are there. So I want you to go on my website, brucenathan2018.com. I want you to get involved because this will be the one candidate that you can get involved with, that you can push back against all of the establishment. And that's what we need to do. And I want to thank Matt and James for giving me an opportunity to speak, because this is what it's all about. And right here in Tallahassee, right here today, I want to thank you all very much for coming.
What do you hear me out there? All right, guys, I've actually never done this before. What I usually do is talk on the internet. You guys ever heard of the internet? No. Yeah, no? Okay, that's what I figured. Not everyone heard of it. I'm on YouTube, and my channel is mostly about my lifestyle, and a huge part of my lifestyle is guns. I would not be able to do that without the protections of the Second Amendment. And what's happening today, you know, it disheartens me. When I know some guys were talking about who we voted for and all that kind of stuff. What we voted for was freedom. That's what we voted for. certain people get into office, then they decide to do things. What they forget about is the freedom that we enjoy in America, the freedoms that we want. And the biggest reason that we're here today is the Second Amendment. Lots of young people are out here. Is there anyone here that is under 21 years old? Okay, let me see. So all of you guys in Florida right now, I mean, before you could not buy a handgun, right? So now you can't buy anything. That's what these guys are talking about. Do you consider yourself men and women? I think you do, right? You know, we say like when you get to 18, you're a man. I think it's maybe like 16, 17. You're pretty much a man or a woman when you feel like you're a man or a woman. But in America, in Florida, we're saying no, you're not. Okay, because someone did something and they were 19. What happens when someone does something else and they're 29? Should we push it up? What about if they're 39? Should we keep pushing it up? That's what we're dealing with in America. Slowly, we're suffering from paper cuts. Okay, our freedom has been taken away every day. And we have to fight for that. We have to push back. Whether we voted for someone or we didn't vote for them, we have to hold them accountable. Okay? And I know that whatever I have, whatever abilities, whatever reach, the people that, know who I am, the influence that I have, being on the internet, being on YouTube, I'm going to use that to push back against the people that try to take the Second Amendment away from us. I don't care where they came from. Do you guys care what their party is? What their affiliation is if they take the Second Amendment away from you? Because I don't care about that, and they need to remember that. Yes, they're tyrants. They say that we should negotiate. We should give a little bit to get something back. We've given so much already, right? Do you guys want to keep giving up stuff? Exactly. So no matter who that is, we have to let these people behind us know that are just making up rules. These guys don't even know what happened recently in this school shooting. They don't even know. They haven't figured it out yet, but what they've figured out is that they want to do something else to infringe on the Second Amendment. They've figured that out already. Okay? We have to keep pushing back against these people, regardless of who they are. Whether or not we voted for them, we have to keep pushing back against this, guys. I'm living here. I grew up in New York City. I'm not super proud of that. But I'm glad that I found Florida. And I plan on spending the rest of my life here. Okay, my children are here. I have a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. And these guys are taking the Second Amendment away from them. And they're going to keep moving the goalpost. So the thing that I want to say to you guys is you have the ability to vote. You have the ability to make your voices heard on this thing called the internet. If you don't know what to say, share what the guys like me and the other people out here do. Okay, look for the politicians who really believe in the Second Amendment. Vote for those guys. Let's stop voting in the really cool people. Okay, let's stop getting the rock stars and the reality stars in the White House and in Congress, in the State House. Let's put the real people in there that believe in the Second Amendment, okay? So that's what I believe in. I'm Hank Strange. Thanks a lot for inviting me here, guys. Thanks to everyone that helped us share this message and get it out here. God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I bring them up, I want to clarify something. We've all seen the media parade students in front of you, in front of everybody who are against the Second Amendment and this and that. We've all seen it, but can you imagine being 18, 19, 20 years old at a school, at a university, and having a conservative point of view? The pressure that you must be under from the other side to feel like you are in the wrong for supporting conservative American values. We have some students here today from Florida State University, the University of Florida Go Gators, from TCC. Some of them reached out to me, and I won't mention names, and they had serious concerns. They had serious concerns about putting their voices and their faces to this. Because as college students, the next step up is the interview process for their careers. As bad that the hate between the sides has gotten so bad that as a conservative young American, you're afraid that you're not going to get a career because you chose to stand your ground and stand up for your rights. So give these young men and women a humongous round of applause for having the guts to stand up for the rights.
Hey everyone, my name is Genesis Sanchez. I go to Tallahassee Community College. I am the chapter president and founder of my Turning Point USA chapter. We promote free markets, limited government, more power to the people. So I am here today because I'm 19 years old. I moved 5 hours away from home. All by myself, well, with my roommates, but you know, it's scary living on your own. I'm sure a lot of you in the crowd can agree with that. Sorry. Can y'all hear me now? So I'm here today because the Second Amendment is very important, and I believe that we should be able to have our God-given rights that our founding fathers provided for us. Who's with me? I'd rather have a Glock 43 on me walking from my night class home than be a victim. Who's with me? I refuse to be a victim, and that is why I'm here today with you all. I support this. Thank you so much to everyone who organized this. Y'all did a great job. I'm so proud to be here. I'm honored. So I'm so proud of my students, my fellow peers from UF. Go Noles, though. My friends from Florida State, y'all are amazing. College Republicans has done so much for me. I'm so thankful for y'all. Core, Julian, Daisy, y'all are great. I thank you all for coming out. I just wanted to say thank you again. This is so important that our voices are heard. You know, the mainstream media won't show this, that there is tons of gun lovers right here in Tallahassee right now. But we're here, and let our voices be heard. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to preface this saying, go Gators. The other thing I'd like to preface this with is I am not a public speaker, but I have felt compelled by our infringement of our rights to come and speak with you today. The other thing I would like to preface this by saying is that as a student at the University of Florida, this very legislator has decided that the only right I have is to be a sitting duck target at my university. It's a pleasure to see grassroots effort like this one have such a great turnout. My name is Sarah Long, and I am the University of Florida chapter vice president for Young Americans for Freedom. And over the past 2 weeks, we have been educating our students about what the Second Amendment is really about and how it levels the playing field specifically for young women. At university, 1 in 4 women are raped or sexually assaulted, and we are left undefended because 18 to 21-year-olds are apparently allowed to sign up to give up their life for this country and yet are not allowed to defend themselves. The weak defense for this intrusion on our rights for 18 to 21-year-olds is claiming that they are focusing on improving campus safety. As a student at the university, I don't find this to be the case. The average response time at the University of Florida Police Department is 10 minutes. That is 10 minutes that students are sitting ducks should a coward come and decide to kill as many of us as possible. The Research Council has indicated that people who are able to fight back, neutralize these situations at a higher rate than police officers can. These cowards back down the moment they are confronted. In addition, these new policies raising the age from 18 to 21 and the banning of assault rifles are completely ineffective. Out of the last shooting since 2009, 2 total shootings have been caused by semi-automatic rifles of people under the age of 21, and only 1 of those guns was obtained legally. So the cost of reducing 1 shooting is the infringement of the Second Amendment rights on every single one of you, every single one of campus university students, including myself. I call on you to reach out to your legislators and restore the rights of college students. Thank you. Yes,
My name is Victor Santos, and I'm a student at the University of Florida, and I'm the secretary for the same YAF chapter. And I'm here to tell you that this is not about guns. This is a war on our culture. They tell us, you know, they're trying to tell us that they encourage us to have abortions, and at the same time, 1 in 4 black families don't have fathers. This is kind of like the issue that we're having, where sorry, I'm getting distracted. This is the issue, because they're telling us not to be educated on our rights, and our college campuses are the same people that are telling us that the fathers of our Constitution, the founders, were racist, white supremacists, whatever else they'll have to tell you. And it's ridiculous. They had the right frame of mind, and we're here to defend the Constitution, and we're here to defend this country. I came from Brazil 8 years ago and became a citizen 3 years ago. And I know what happens when they take away your gun. The police on the street, they're tyrants. They can shoot you on the street for stealing an apple. And at the same time, you'll see bodies washed up on the beach because they couldn't protect themselves. This isn't right. So I'm here to tell you that all of us have the right to fight for this country and to fight for our guns.
All of us here today are here to say no. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing a very big problem today. Too many mass killings have been taking place in our schools. And too many times, the answer has been to disrespect the Second Amendment right of law-abiding citizens. It is here that we stand up and say no. You may not raise the age of purchasing a firearm to 21. No, you may not place trivial bans simply to do so. And no, gun-free campuses are not a good idea. Here's why. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment of the United States. I'm a 20-year-old college student at the University of Florida, where I have been challenging my campus's liberal views with the help of YAF. But this is a state issue. And in this state, my Second Amendment rights are already limited by the fact that I cannot purchase a handgun until I reach the age of 21. Raising the purchasing age of rifles and shotguns would completely take away my Second Amendment rights. Completely. Moreover, to compare me and virtually everyone else between the ages of 18 and 20, not only college students, but also military members, policemen, first responders, to compare us all to that evil murderer down in Parkland is an insult. How can you trust 18-year-old men and women to go to war but not own a firearm? Again, a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. Therefore, do not be surprised by my passion or stubbornness. No, you may not raise the age. Love you all. Regarding a ban on assault rifles, how exactly do you define that? Some define it as full automatic firearms that fire bullets that are less caliber than a machine gun. Others, such as Senator Dianne Feinstein, have changed their own definition of assault rifles over the course of the years, as seen in the 1994 and 2013 gun ban proposals. Just a few days ago, an amendment was proposed to the Florida legislature that tried to ban assault rifles, but it was worded so loosely that it could apply to almost any rifle on the books. How can you expect a ban to be effective if you can't even define the terms correctly? Now, thankfully, the bill failed, but the questions are just the same. Also, do you intend to ban guns designed for military use? That definition would also include the revolver, magazine? If so, who exactly defines how many rounds I need to protect myself when an intruder comes into my home? It appears the only characteristic that remains is that certain guns look scary. But, I mean, some people think that clowns look scary, so should we ban them too? Now, regarding the concept of gun-free campuses, let me ask two questions. One, why should our Second Amendment rights cease to exist immediately when one steps onto a school campus? And two, is this really a good idea? These are two very important questions to ask and answer correctly, especially when you consider the tragedies like the one that happened in our own state just a few short weeks ago. The answer to the first question is that it doesn't. Our Second Amendment rights do not cease to exist on a school campus. In the Supreme Court case, McDonald versus City of Chicago, it was ruled that the Second Amendment applies to state and local governments in addition to the federal government. So why are school campuses considered gun-free campuses in the first place? It is the undeniable truth that it shouldn't. The idea of gun-free campuses doesn't work because even on and off campuses nationwide. And according to the Crime Prevention Research Center, over 98% of mass shootings have occurred in gun-free zones. 98%. That is a massive number. Therefore, I say it is the state's duty to get rid of this limitation of the Second Amendment these Second Amendment rights and allow for campus carry in the state of Florida. So let me finish where I began. We are here to say no to the further infringement on our rights. No to frivolous bans that achieve nothing. And no to making our schools less safe and less protected. Florida, our Second Amendment rights are being stripped away one by one. What next? God willing, there will not be a next. We have gathered here today in Tallahassee, our state's capital, to ensure that our elected officials know that we, their constituents, law-abiding concerned citizens, stand united to urge them that the time to act is now. Today, we stand. Today, we defend ourselves and our loved ones. And it is now that we defend the Second Amendment of the Constitution of our United States of America. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for all that organizes.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Chris Weatherman. I'm a writer under the pen name of Angry American. A lot of people ask where the name came from. Well, honestly, it was a username on a forum. That's where I started writing. But it was pretty proper for the way I felt at the time, and still feel, and that's why I still use the name. One thing I want to do real quick, though, because I haven't heard it done yet today, is let's give a round of applause for the Capitol Police, Tallahassee PD, for the It's important that our law enforcement friends know that we got their back just like they have ours.
Here.
And that's one of the things I want to talk about today. The left is saying that firearms, any firearm now at this point, has no place in our civil society today. They say that only the military and first responders need to possess firearms. Well, when you are being attacked or victimized in any fashion, who is the real first responder? You are the first responder. When you break it down, first coming before all others with respect to time, order of appearance, that kind of thing. Responder is someone who responds to something. So you are your own first responder. Therefore, we need to be armed just like we are now, just like we have been for 200 years, and it needs to continue into the future. Nothing against law enforcement. They cannot be everywhere. There's simply not enough of them. They've got enough other stuff going on. When you look at the list of departments that are inside your typical law enforcement agency, they have a full plate. And we have to do our part. You know, the media doesn't like to cover when civilians come to the aid of law enforcement officers. It happens all the time. They like to decry the officers in Broward County who didn't enter the school. I don't know exactly what happened there yet. We're still learning the details. they were told to stand down. That's a horrible crime. Thank you for addressed with their sheriff and not the deputies at hand, in my opinion.
Well, they stayed out there. They're cowards. Right. You're a coward if you sit there and let kids get killed. You're a coward.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Amen.
But it needs to be taken up with their sheriff for sure. Israel needs to be replaced.
Yeah!
Hold them out. These big strong men.
Heard?
Yep.
But we want to make sure that law enforcement understands, because the left does not support law enforcement. They don't respect law enforcement. We do respect law enforcement. 90% of law enforcement officers come from our ranks. So does the military. We're the source of those people, because we are those people. I just want to make that distinction. There's a lot of folks mad, justifiably, about the deputies down in Broward. Let's not paint them all with a broad brush. But the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution does not grant us anything. It affirms our God-given right to defend ourselves against the firearm. So when the left starts talking about these things have no place in our modern civil society, let's remind them of who the true first responders are. And that's why the left doesn't like that, because they are not interested in personal responsibility. And that's what it comes down to. They want somebody else to fix their problems, no matter what the problem is. And the thought of defending themselves is an enactment of those people. Whereas us, it's common sense. But they also lack that. I want to keep it short. That's all I wanted to mention. Just when your lefty friends start complaining about it, just remember the first responder, who the real first responder is. And if you sit down and think about that for a minute, it's actually pretty impactful to people. It's worked for me already on a couple. Of who's there when a crime is committed. It's the people being victimized. They're the ones with the first responder.
Yep.
So thanks for coming out, everybody. And again, I want to thank the Captain Police, Tallahassee, the FDLE. Thanks for coming.
Hi everyone, my name is Joshua Folsom, and I am the Region 3 representative of the Libertarian Party of Florida. That covers Gadsden, Leon, Wakulla, Madison, Taylor, and Jefferson County. Unfortunately, I have another list for you today, which covers every single turncoat that got this bill out of committee and got us on the Capitol steps today.
Vote him out! Vote him out!
We are tired of being the scapegoats for every time evil rears its head in the United States of America, and these people are going to hear it. So without further ado, in the Rules Committee, the following senators voted yay. Senator Elizabeth Benaquiso, Republican, District 27, covering Lee County.
Vote her out!
Senator Rob Bradley, Republican, District 5, Levy, Dixie, Gilchrist, Lafayette, Suwannee, Columbia, Baker, Union, Bradford, and Clay. Senator Jeff Brands, Republican, District 24, Pinellas County. Senator Anita Flores, District 39, Republican, sort of. Miami-Dade and Monroe County. Senator Bill Galvano, Republican, District 21, Hillsborough and Manatee Counties. Senator Keith Perry, Republican, District 8, Alachua, Putnam, and Marion County. Senator Wilton Simpson, Republican, District 10, Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco Counties. Senator Lauren Book, Democrat, District 32, Broward. Senator Bill Munford, Democrat, District 3, Calhoun, Gulf, Liberty, Franklin, Gadsden, Leon, Wakulla, Jefferson, Madison, Taylor, and Hamilton counties. The following members of the Rules Committee voted nay. Senator Tom Lee, Republican, District 20, Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pope. Now this is where things get weird. Senator Oscar Brainin II, Democrat, District 35, Broward, Miami-Dade. Senator Jose Javier Rodriguez, District 37, Democrat, Miami-Dade. Senator Perry E. Thurston Jr., Democrat, District 33, Broward. In the Appropriations Committee, the following voted yay. Senator Kelly Stargo, Republican, District 22, Lake and Polk. Senator Wilton Simpson, Republican, District 10, Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco. Senator David Simmons, Republican, District 9, Seminole, and Volusia County. Senator Kathleen Pasademo, Republican, District 28, Collier, Hendry, and Lee. Senator Bill Galvano, Republican, District 21, Manatee and Hillsborough counties. Senator George B. Gaynor, Republican, District 2, Bay, Holmes, Jackson, Walton, Washington, and Okaloosa. Senator Anita Flores, Republican, District 39, Monroe, Miami-Dade. Senator Jeff Brands, Republican, District 24, Pinellas. The chair of the Appropriations Committee, Senator Rod Bradley, Republican, District 5, Baker, Bradford, Clay, Columbia, Dixie, Gilchrist, Lafayette, Levy, Sweet, Union, and Marion.
I promise you his ass is going to get him out.
Senator Elizabeth Benequito, Republican, District 27, Lee. Senator Aaron Bean, Republican, District 4, Nassau and Duval County. Senator Bill Munford, Democrat, District 3, Calhoun, Gulf, Liberty, Franklin, Gaston, Leon, Wakulla, Jefferson, Madison, Taylor, and Hamilton County. The following in appropriations voted nay. Senator Denise Grimsley, Republican, District 26, Manatee and Hillsborough. Senator Dennis Baxley, Republican, District 12, Lake and Marion. Senator Linda Stewart, Democrat, District 13, Orange.
And then I'm going to open it up to the crowd.
She's not a good guy, though. Senator Bobby Powell, District 30, Democrat, Paul Beach. Senator Audrey Gibson, Democrat, District 6, Fall. Oscar Brainin II, Democrat, District 35, Broward, Miami. Senator Randolph Bracey, Democrat, District 11, Orange. Senator Lauren Book, Democrat, District 32, Broward. Do you guys notice something about those nay lists? They're mostly Democrats. They would not let this bill out of committee.
Somebody stands.
They voted that the bill would not leave committee, although they were defeated because the bill didn't go far enough. It didn't align with their principles enough. Every Republican that voted yay is more of a coward than those Democrats. That is all I have for you today. I have a few copies of this list. I don't have enough for all of you, but if you really want one, need one, come get it right down there.
My name is Chris Rose. I'm from Gainesville, Alachua County, Florida. And I'm an officer in the Libertarian Party of Same. And this bill, Senate Bill 7026, infuriates me. This bill, throughout its 75 plus pages and growing more every day, indirectly or directly infringes on the First, Second, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, and Ninth Amendments to our Constitution, otherwise known as the Bill of Rights. What do these people think they're doing? On Monday morning, I was right yonder around the corner on the massive steps with the beautiful fountain paid for by me and you. And I stood there with a colleague of mine and I watched over 1,100 people converge on our senators' offices. These people were mostly made up of poor, misguided, misunderstanding, but very passionate students.
I say misguided because the calls and the concerns that they were making were purely emotional based.
They were taught to go this.
And while I do sympathize and empathize with their concerns, it is our responsibility to teach them and everyone else who is for this bill that the way to protect American citizens is not by to infringe on the rights and the privileges that we as Americans have fought and died and struggled for generations. How many in the crowd right now are parents? How many have children? I have a daughter. She's 4.5. What kind of world am I leaving for her? What are we allowing to have our children taught? The angry mob, which was unruly, violent, and very loud on Monday, kept screaming, "This is what democracy looks like." And they were exactly right.
Looks like.
We are not a democracy, ladies and gentlemen. We are a constitutional republic, or what's left of it. And we are failing our children as parents as a whole to teach them the difference and the reason why. It is my plea to all of us this evening, or whenever the next time is, that we hold our posterity closely to our breasts, and in the same breath that we tell them that we love them, to acknowledge that we will not let this constitutional republic die in their lifetimes. We will not let the socialist Marxist agenda of the left dictate to our children how our government works. Monday afternoon and this past Thursday, after hours of sitting through committee and watching these elected officials, duly elected by the people of the great state of Florida, run rampant on our rights and tell me to my face that, well, it's what we have to do to stay elected. That is not why they were put in office, to stay elected. The Constitution is not a chip card to bribe with to further the careers of our elected officials. That is not why we sent them here. For too long, our politicians elected into office have run roughshod over our Constitution, over our morals, over our rights. They have been allowed to sit here in Tallahassee, far removed from the majority of the population of the state, and pretty much dictate what they will do as they please. I say enough! I say that from henceforth we pledge to ourselves and to our posterity that we will not let these crimes that they commit against the Constitution and our inalienable rights go unnoticed. They will not go unheeded. No more was shouted on Monday. Well, I say no more for a different reason. No less noble, but in the proper channels. No more shall an elected official of any party sit up here in the state capitol and decide that for their own personal pleasure and their own personal gain to further their career, they shall pass this bill. In one senator's office, I asked him to his face, why is Governor Scott, a man who campaigned on the Second Amendment and open carry, why is Governor Scott pushing this bill through? The senator paused and he replied. And he said, Governor Scott is running for U.S. Senate this year. He's running against Bill Nelson. He has $125 million right now set aside for his upcoming race. That's a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen, and that's more money than he had to challenge him. And he said Governor Scott knows that no Republican will primary him. He will be the only name on your ballot with the Republican letter next to him. So he needs to go hard to the left, because all that's left to stand in his way between him and his personal career and a pay raise is the Democrat. And he's going hard to the left, our Constitution be what it may, because he wants that pay raise.
That's not right.
I say to Governor Scott and the rest of these senators, these career politicians who were elected to defend with integrity the Constitution of these United States and the great state of Florida against all enemies, foreign and domestic, I say to you, on this Sunday, on the steps of your state capitol, no more. We are listening. Message to our politicians: don't tread on me.
Patriots? Patriots, can you hear me? There it is. My name is Jay Fant. I'm from Jacksonville. I represent Western Jacksonville in the House of Representatives. Many of you have changed your family schedule, your worship schedule, to be here today. A great many of you are from right here in Leon County. Give me a shout. Yeah! I have seen friends from Alachua County. Give me a shout. Yeah! Some of you have come here today with a great concern about the path of our elected officials and our culture in general. It could be that your heart is heavy. It could be that you're afraid of the future of our country based on what we're seeing on television and in the media. As we stand here in front of these Capitol buildings, there can be a sense of awe and fear over what they stand for. Awe because of the power, and fear for how they use that power. You and I, however, have a different belief, because we know in our hearts, in our minds, that no matter how liberal the media gets, no matter how uncooperative our politicians get, they still don't have this, the United States Constitution. I bet some of you have a copy of this in your pocket today. It looks like paper, but it is far stronger than anything that happens in the walls of these chambers. We have a threat upon us in the Capitol this week. I have a call to action for all of you. The Senate will pass a school safety bill which includes a gun ban for adults between the ages of 18 and 21. It is unconstitutional on its face. It is unacceptable in our eyes, in the eyes of the highest law of the land, the Bill of Rights.
Amen.
I'm asking you to track this legislation on Monday. If it indeed comes to the House of Representatives, I want all of you to contact your House member and say, we can't have it, enough is enough, vote no on the anti-gun bill.
We just stay here and show up in the morning.
I like the attitude that you have right now, because I believe it's going to take real people who have real lives and real jobs to let our representatives know that the left doesn't run the show. Hear, hear. Here, here. They work for us. They do work for us, sir. We will stand steadfast, constitutional conservatives, but we need your help. Who am I? I'm Representative Jay Fant from Jacksonville, and I'm running to be your Attorney General when the cabinet rolls over.
You tell Rob Bradley Monday morning that his ass is gone.
And when I am Attorney General, anyone, any government entity, any individual who seeks to take away your constitutional rights will have to go through me first.
Thank you.
Our founders knew better. They knew we would construct monuments to government. They knew that corruption would occur with people when power goes to their heads. But our founders were wise enough to know that they should draw a line and say to the government, you may not infringe on my freedom to speak. You may not infringe on my ability to believe what I want to believe, and you may not infringe on my ability to bear arms. Do not let that line be crossed. It is up to us. Again, as imposing as these buildings are, they do not have the strength of the Constitution. I ask you now, and I share with you this day, that there's no one who cares more with 4 children at home about school safety than I do. But to kick law-abiding citizens in the teeth of their constitutional rights has no business in laws in this state. So we're the only ones with guns are criminals, terrorists, and the government. We're not going to have that. And I'm going to close with this thought. When you get home tonight or tomorrow, someday, either then or later, you're going to be asked by your husband or your wife, your children, maybe your grandchildren, Pop, Mom, did you ever stand for anything? Yeah. And you're going to say, let me tell you something. Here is what I stand for. I stand for, and repeat after me, God and country. God and country. I stand for family and freedom. Family and freedom. The Constitution. The Constitution. America. America. USA. 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 Thank you so much. JFant.com. Thank you so much.
My name is Lucretia Hughes, and I am from Statham, Georgia, which is 10 miles from here. The reason why I'm here today is I'm here to stand up for people that don't want to stand up. They'll sit there on Facebook, they'll cry, they'll moan, but once their rights gets taken, then they want to stand up. It's too late for that. This is why we're here today. The Second Amendment was written for the tyranny that was happening and the reason why we left England in the first place. Look at Washington, D.C. To this day, we have tyranny happening. They want to change and mix words each and every day to just bend and amend the rules. I'm sorry. The Bill of Rights is here to protect us from people like Bill. Amen. I will stand up. I will stand up with our other freedom fighters. I will stand up for our Constitution. I will stand up for our conservative principles. And I'm going to continue standing up, and I will travel around the United States. I am a person that lost her son 2 years ago to gun violence, but I'm not giving mine up. The reason why I carry a gun is to make sure my second in my life counts. I don't need the police to come 10 minutes later as they're pronouncing me dead on arrival. I want to make sure that I protect my family, my home, and my country because those are my God-given rights. So, as our Congress, Nancy Pelosi, Chucky Schumer, Mitch McConnell, and Ryan, step off and sit down, because you're not going to take our Second Amendment away. You're not taking our First Amendment away, because we are not going to be the Clyde Bundys. We're not going to be Waco, Texas, and we damn sure ain't going to be Ruby Ridge. On this day, and you see people all over Facebook and all over the United States just coming together and rallying the way Americans should. We're not about device. We're not about diversity. We are Americans first. And if you don't love our country and love what we stand for, get the hell out. It's that simple. So as he said, I'm from Georgia, so I ride them hard. They know me when I'm coming. So make sure tomorrow, call your senators, call your congressmen, because if you voted their ass in, you can damn well vote their asses out.
We're all in agreement the Second Amendment is important. It should be protected under any circumstance, correct? And gun control is wrong, right? Here's an argument against gun control that you may not have heard before. It's racist. The first form of gun control enacted in the United States were the slave codes after Nat Turner used his Second Amendment right to fight against the slaveholders that were holding his brothers and sisters under captivity. The second major passage of gun control was after John Brown in 1860 rose up against the Kansas government for actively enslaving free black men. Fast forward to 1960. The police aren't properly protecting the people of Oakland against the Klan. The Black Panthers said, if they're not going to do it, we'll do it. We'll be our own organized militia to protect our families, to protect our homes. And Ronald Reagan signed into law that nobody can open carry anymore because black people decided to. Exactly. So what do you think going forward? When 1 out of every 3 Americans owns a gun and police officers are sent to their households to take them out, who do you think is going to take the brunt of that? Who do you think is going to get harmed the most? It is shown already that black and brown people are given longer sentences for the same gun crimes as white Americans, non-violent gun crimes. Here's a statistic you might not know. In the last 10 years of mass shootings, there have been less people killed than there have been in the last year than those civilians killed by police, without proper juries, without proper trials. That is not only a restriction on our Second Amendment right, that is restrictions on our rights against illegal search and seizures, that is violating our rights against our right to have free and fair trials. So I ask you, I know there was a man who spoke earlier who was also from Cuba. My family's from Cuba. I thank you for that. But then I also ask, you as a police officer, what are you going to do if the scenario comes when you're asked to take the guns away from our American people? Who are going to be the first people to kick down your door and take your weapons? It's the police. There is no movement for liberty that involves arming the people that doesn't also involve disarming the police. Think on that. Liberty means protection from government, not protection for the government against others. Liberty means the right to do as you please. And who are the first people to use violence against peaceful Americans? The police. Think on that. Thank you.
Can you hear me? My name is Luis Valdez. I've been in law enforcement for 11 years. Today I'm here as a private citizen. I first and foremost want to thank all of you for being here and exercising your rights. My family fled Cuba in 1961, and the first thing they did in Cuba was they took our guns away. They then took our property away, and they then lined up my family and shot them. I've been in law enforcement, and I swore that I would never allow that to happen in this country. Our entire history has been based on fighting for liberty and freedom for all Americans. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, gay, doesn't matter. We're all Americans. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be the first generation American. And I want more Americans to come here. Holding a firearm is a tangible piece of your civil liberties. When you pick up that firearm, it is you telling the world you will not let anyone take your rights away from you. Gun control does not work. Gun control causes harm, bloodshed, and tyranny. It spreads misery and oppression. California has gun control. New York has gun control. Chicago has gun control. What do they have? People control and the loss of life. It's a lot harder to talk to you than it is to talk to the people in Tallahassee and the Capitol. And the reason why is because I know you know the truth. Our rights are under threat. We need to stand together because surely if we don't, we will hang separately. I had a speech all written out and I've forgotten it now.
You're doing good, man. Come on, man. Preach it.
In Cuba, in 1961 is when my family came here. In 1959 is when Fidel Castro took over. My family's been here since then. We've fought, we've bled, we've shed. I know other people have too. When it comes to our rights, we can't stop. We can't let it happen. We won't let it happen. We've lost too many already. Gun-free zones don't work. We've lost too many youths to government control. All government's answer is more government. As a law enforcement officer, I swore to protect the First, the Second, the Fourth, the Fifth, and every other constitutional right. It's not right. It's not correct. And in the end, I wish you all to voice your opinion and fight harder and stronger. And I'm serious. I had something written out and it's right here in my back pocket. Forgot it. So I'd rather not take up time. I'd rather let you speak. Because the second protects the first, whether we can speak eloquently or not.
Here, here. I'd just like to start out by saying, God bless every one of you military responders, police officers out there. My dad served in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. He saw firsthand what disarming the public does to people. Pol Pot, Cambodia, Chairman Mao, China, and Stalin in Russia. It ain't happening here. We're talking about a lot of different things here today, but one thing I think we haven't really touched on is 98% of the mass shootings in this country since 1953 have been in soft target zones, gun-free zones. We need to end our gun-free zones. We need to call upon our school board to allow veterans, teachers, janitors, principals to protect our kids. These cowards, they come into our soft targets and they just shoot us down like
Sitting ducks.
Sitting ducks. It's got to end. You know, they throw it on our Second Amendment. And that's just wrong. We see the lamestream media pumping out a bunch of BS. Why don't we get back to the real fact? We got a bunch of criminals in Washington, D.C. and past administrations that need to go to prison. I'd just like to say thank you to all you for showing up today. That's about all I have.